I'm glad we're doing this movement, because you have lots to work on. So you move really nicely, actually. The way your wrist works, I think we all saw that. The problem is your opening gesture is not idiomatic to wind playing. If these were string players, it'd be perfect. But they're not. Right? String players can start here, and you can give a downbeat wherever you want, and they're like, sure. And then they just start. Wind players need preparation, even flow of time, or even flow of motion, right? And then setting the ictus point exactly where they need to initiate sound. Right now, when you lift, you're basically saying play anywhere from here to there, which is why it was like throwing marbles down a hallway.
I see.
Okay? Try again.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Hold on. Try again. So what's happening with time?
A little bit disjunct, absolutely disjunct. I feel like.
What else? You're reacting to it. So you're doing what I call the 3 R's. You're receiving, you're resonating, and you're responding. You're doing those 3 things. You're receiving like, uh-oh, something's happening. You're resonating with it like, uh-oh, what do I do? And then you're responding, and you're choosing someone to go after. So you're doing those 3 things, which is good. It's the manner in which you are doing it is not helping. So let's talk about why that's not happening. So the tempo is definitely starting to pull, right? She's going a little fast, sometimes she's going a little slow. Daniel's a little slow back there, right? They're all sort of choosing their own tempo. Do you remember what I was talking about? I think it was Doug earlier. And I said, you're transmitting knowledge, but here you need to focus on creating dialogue. You've got to figure out a way to get these folks to listen to each other, right? God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth on purpose. We should listen twice as hard as we speak. So you need to get them to listen twice as hard as they're playing.
And showing that, how would I go into just, I feel like I should be in this area.
Yeah, you pick an area. You're like, okay, I'm going to go with my slot, my oboe slot, and I have my flute slot, and I've got my tuba slot. And you need to open up the arms and the torso that you say, let's do this together. Okay, let's go again from the beginning.
Okay.
Does that make sense, y'all?
Okay. Get my elbow in the right spot.
Why aren't you using your left hand, though?
Good question. That would be a little bit more comfortable for them.
No, it has not comfortable for them. If I start with my left hand, right? Yeah. See, they're talking. We're creating dialogue. Right? They're looking at each other. I mean, do you guys remember when the pandemic started? I don't know about you, but all we did at my house was watch the Berlin Digital Concert Hall. I forced my children in the basement to watch that. You know? And then when we had Zoom school, that stupid thing we had to do, you know, Zooming with a kindergartner is literally torture. So during music time, I was like, we're going to watch the Berlin Phil. That's what we're going to do today. And so that's what we would do. But you watch those videos. First of all, I think Petrenko is amazing. I think he's the best conductor on the planet that I've ever seen. Like, he's amazing. The players play differently because you can watch their eyes and how they communicate. I think it's better than Simon Rattle was there. And I will fight that to the grave.
That's a battle there.
Right? But it's because he creates dialogue with the players. The quality versus the quantity of his movement is such that the players want to interact with each other. Right? And right now, you're focusing on one person, but by doing that, you're letting this go away. So you have to find a way to bring the conversation together. That's why I said use the left hand. You're like, well, that would be more comfortable for them. It's not about comfortable for them. It's about you showing this, like big old grandma hug. You know? Here we go. Boom. Right? And then your eyes can drift from player to player, but right now your whole body's like oboe, flute, tuba. It's too disjunct, and you're not bringing it together, which that's what I'm talking about in terms of creating dialogue. Okay, let's try again from the beginning. Sorry, stop. Show me which one is more welcoming. This or this?
Definitely this.
This. This says, dance with me. This says, stay over there. It's like the State Farm commercial. Like a good neighbor, stay over there. It's not the commercial, but I changed it. Right? This is dance with me. Scott, dance with me. Dance. Garrett, dance. 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 This is get out of my face. Right? This is specific. This is like, that's too much. And they're like, got it. But this is, put your music here and let's dance together. Okay? Let's try again from the beginning. It's still, I'm sorry, it's just a snarky preparation. Play with me. You're doing this. First note. Yeah, boy, I don't know how you played that. I mean, that was as ambiguous as I possibly could have come up with. Okay, let's try again. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Just set the music in motion because music is already happening. You're just putting it in motion again.
I see.
Right? And yours is starting from nothing and you give this ambiguous preparation. See if you can be more clear about the preparation. Okay, let's try again. Better. Keep the left hand open. Don't be so in control of time. Just let them play. Good. So the time is getting better.
Yes.
Right? It's getting better because you're allowing them to play. You're allowing the flexibility for them to move, which is good. And she's going to get a new read. Right? You going to put a new read on? Yeah, gosh. You know, things we're all glad we don't deal with. Reads. Yeah. Here's another question. If you want to get people to listen, should you talk softer or louder?
Softer.
Softer. Right? If you want to control a room, now you can speak. But if they're all playing, you know, and you start trying to talk over them, right, it's just loud. So at the beginning of this movement, I would encourage you to move less. Think more about quality of motion than quantity. That will also help them create more dialogue at the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, let's try again. Okay. By the way, his teacher wrote a conducting book that's used all over the world. So I expect his technique to be good, or I'm going to text his teacher and tell him it was terrible. His teacher is one of my best friends. Okay.
No pressure. Yeah.
No. His teacher, funny story, so you don't know Jordan, my oldest, right? When Josh was born, it was an emergency. I called Uncle Doug, who lived across the street. I go, Doug, I need you to come over and watch Jordan. He goes, you know I don't watch 2-year-olds. I go, Doug, she's going to eat her dinner. You can just sit here. And he's like, fine. I have a picture of him sitting there staring at Jordan in the high chair when she's 2 eating peas. And she's looking at him and he's looking at her and they're like, we only have to do this for 20 minutes. That's all we have to do. So we're very good friends. Okay. All right, here we go. Keep the arms open. Keep the torso open. Move less. It's easy to move. Bring them in. Keep moving. It's easy. Small and move. Keep the left hand involved. Just dance with me all the time. Keep it moving. Keep it flowing. Good. All right. How are we doing? I feel like it's better because you sound better. Now that could be you played it a couple of times, but let's just assume. I mean, you're moving less, and your gestures feel more idiomatic. You have to remember that it's easy to move, and just keep this going. Sometimes it looks a little labored when you get small. Okay, and we can talk about Laban effort words in a little bit. The last thing I want to mention to you, how much time do we have left? Okay. Perfect. Love it. Your face. Let's deal with your face. Your face is fine, by the way.
Thank you.
There's nothing wrong with it. But that face, I'd love to see more of that. Not that one.
Okay.
But just more of a gentle demeanor, right? And when you breathe and you look at people, this is a movement you can smile, right? And over here, and then smile. And when your eyes show that and we have meaningful eye contact, that's also going to help create dialogue. Okay, let's try again. Okay. Can you bring your chin down just a little bit? This is a pet peeve of mine. When your chin is up this way and you're looking down at people, you know, this is the conductor, I'm better than you look, and that's not what we're trying to show, right? I know, I'm sorry, but that's the only way to say that. I mean, think about it. You know, if I come to you like, right? Yeah, it's silly. And they're like, why are you doing that? You look like an idiot. Yep. Bring your chin down just a little bit so you're looking eye level with them, right?
Okay.
You would never have a conversation. I would never walk up to Dr. Snow and do this. Dr. Snow? Right. But you see my point, right? I mean, you walk in and you lower your chin a little bit so it doesn't look this way. You don't want to look down at them. Okay.
Got it.
Let's go. Here we go. Beginning. Keep moving. It's easy to move. Keep the wrist going. Go. 2 and 3 and 4. Up. Breathe. Yeah, good. All right, now let's talk about this. Say hi to Sam.
Hi, Sam.
She's very sweet. She sounds very nice, right? When she plays, how much do you need to show her all of this?
Not much.
Very little, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
If she looks at you every now and then, great. Now, Sam likes to look a lot. She keeps her eyes up a lot, right? We want to encourage her to listen for what's happening around us. We want to be more in charge of the harmony underneath. We want to be obsessed with bass motion and harmonic color, not the trumpet solo. The trumpet solo is her problem. Our problem is everything else.
Okay.
Right? Again, thank you, reader. We're so focused on trumpet solo. Like we have our horse blinders on and we're like, boom, just gonna stare at her. Right? But all this other stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to color that and shade it so that she can play really musically. The more we color the bass and the harmonic motion, the more musically she's gonna play. Right? Think about this as being, you know, like the bass. I made my first ever raspberry tart the other day because I have the Mary Berry cookbook, or Mary Berry cookbook. It was terrible, by the way. It didn't turn out right. Mostly because I had lime jello and not like regular jello. But anyway. But, you know, like the better the filling is, then you can add the fun stuff on the top, right? She's the fun stuff on the top. You've got to be more in the filling. Okay? All right, we have to stop. Sorry, we had a lot of stuff. Good job, Jakeb. Good job. Thank you all.